Was there opportunity to turn Cena into a heel?
It wasn't the first.
Well, yeah, they've had opportunities his entire career to turn him heel.
Since he started getting booed in 2006.
But I feel like it's a bad decision to make him heel. So.
Yeah.
We're recording.
Yeah. Do you want to actually start now? That was the preamble.
I'm okay with it. It's wrestling related.
It is. Although I think I'd picked up literally halfway into
Yeah, that's fine.
the thought about it.
That's fine. It's a good segue into it.
People are going to be confused.
People think it's real, like we were talking beforehand.
We were talking
Like
beforehand.
we were having this conversation, and then all of a sudden it was like, well, hit the record button, and then just like, oh, they're already talking. And like,
That's 100% what happened.
well, it's up to you if you want to keep going.
Hmm.
I feel like we've gone too far now to turn back.
Gone almost a minute.
I think it's too far to turn back.
We've gone almost a minute of what I was planning to be a 2-minute podcast, so we'll either have to record a whole half of it again, or just start from here.
Should we just do our plugs and get it over with?
You should get your plugs in and get the fuck out.
Okay, that seems fair.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess 1 minute in. Welcome to ISUXDIX Hearts Wrestling episode 10. Zan. The podcast that, as you know, if you've been listening, is dedicated fully to the ongoing memory of Hiroyoshi Tenzan and his and a memorial to his mobility.
Every match could be his last.
Every match should be his last.
I agree.
And yet he perseveres.
He always perseveres. He always comes through.
And this is why we love him. I think he holds the title right now. I think him and Kojima are half of the... Well, he's half.
He's half.
It would be weird if him and Kojima were half of the NWA Tag Team
Four
champions.
guys holding two titles.
Half of the 4 guys currently holding the tag titles. So yeah, they're probably all of the champions in NWA. What were we talking about?
Tenzan.
Tenzan.
Episode Tenzan.
Episode Tenzan. All Tenzan all the time, as everyone knows. As episodes 1 through 9 have been.
Sure, it's
All-
nothing but Tenzan.
Nothing but Tenzan.
24/7 Tenzan.
Document his early years where all his moves were named after buffaloes, and into the later years where he could barely walk, but still do moonsaults.
Where his knees are powder.
Yep.
But he will still do a backflip.
Absolutely. And he's a big guy to be doing it. But, there's a segue. Dude had a pretty good G1.
He had a very good G1.
And that's a thing to talk about.
However, his partner had a better
His
G1.
his partner can still go.
Yes. Even though he's also an old man.
Yeah, he's also an old man. Tenzan cannot go, and that's why it's more impressive that he had a match in the G1 in August of 2014. Dave Meltzer gave 4 1/2 stars
Pretty good.
against Goto.
He also had the most amazing counter to a low blow ever.
Yes, he did against
Yeah, I know.
against Toriano. That okay. Can we list all of the people who had who had better G1s than Yujiro?
Yes, we can.
Tenzan, Yano, Lance Archer,
Lance Archer, yes.
Bad Luck Fale,
Doc Gallows.
Doc Gallows, all had... Can we list all the people who had worse G1s than Yujiro?
I think we're done.
That's correct.
I think we're done. Oh, Yujiro, you're just the worst.
Such a goddamn underachiever.
He's just so lazy. He just doesn't care.
What I love about Yujiro has nothing to do with Yujiro. Stu, I can't remember his last name for the life of me, but...
Hart?
No, I would have remembered that. Stu, who does and did for decades now on the old internets, ProWrestlingFan.com, which used to be the English version of Pro Love, which is like every Japanese result, like meticulously cataloged. And then at one point, Stu decided, I don't know if it was too much to keep up with. I don't really blame him if it was. So he just did New Japan. But sometime around that time, he started a specific Yujiro fan page. And it was fairly early into Team No Limit of Yujiro and Naito teaming. And Stu loved Yujiro, thought he was the best, thought he was like the next big thing in New Japan. And and Naito was like holding him back in the team, and like, man, once they break up No Limit and Yujiro goes singles, fucking sky's the limit for this guy. And oh, Stu, you blew it, my friend.
The sky was literally 2 inches off the ground.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Stu has since, like, deleted all, like, internet history of that fan page because he's, like, so embarrassed about it now. And also it was kind of gay.
That's a random choice to be a fanboy
Yujiro.
of.
And, like, this was, like, young Yujiro. Like, he hadn't really done much, but I get he picked him.
Put all his money on that horse, and now he's bankrupt.
Yeah.
Now the Mafia's coming after him.
Yeah. Or the Yakuza.
Well, the Yakuza too.
Yeah. But yeah, Yujiro sucked in the G1, but pretty much everyone else was great.
Everyone else had at least one good match.
Yeah.
He had no good matches, even against the best guys in the tournament.
It's not like he wasn't given opportunities. Like, both 11-person blocks had 5 great guys in them, or more. I think Block A probably had 7 or 8 great guys in it. So, yeah, it's not like he wasn't given opportunity, but just, like, doing his own moves badly and dangerously.
Yeah.
That, like, corner powerbomb where the guy's head hits the bottom turnbuckle.
Yeah.
Fucking yikes.
Yeah. And just, like, lazy bumping, lazy rope running,
and
lazy
like,
striking.
And his like, newer finisher that's not the crucifix thing is garbage.
Yeah.
The weird, like, starts fireman's carry and then just kind of throws you sideways.
Yeah.
Hate it. It's super low impact every time. And that's what he beat Ishii for the Never title with, and I was like, ugh, that's a title change move? Yeah. I don't know. But, yeah, everyone else was pretty good. As we alluded to, Tenzan had an excellent low blow counter to Yano. Yeah, and folks, now you know, whenever someone is crawling up to you on their knees, taking a big, long swing to hit you in the dick, all you gotta do is Mongolian chop them.
Mongolian chop them, that's all over.
And then, of course, there's, like, we haven't talked about any of, like, the good guys in it. We've talked about Tenzan, Yano, and Yujiro.
Do you want to talk about Shelton Benjamin?
We can talk about Shelton Benjamin.
Because Shelton's kind of shitty, too.
Yeah, he's not great.
He had a great match with Shibata.
Yes, he did.
It was good. That was the only watchable match of the tournament for him, though.
For the most part. He had some, like, some average ones that you never need to watch and are completely forgettable. But, I think you can't really talk about Shelton without talking about one thing. German suplexes.
Shelton needs to stop doing and taking them.
Shelton is, by all rights, an athletic man.
Yes.
He can jump to the top rope with no hands.
He's in good shape.
He's in good shape. He's strong. Presumably, most of his muscle groups work pretty well. Yeah. Why can't he do a German suplex drive?
Why can't he just jump?
I don't. He's in, and the problem is, he's in a promotion where a good number of people do German suplexes.
Yes.
And they all look fantastic. Like,
even some guys that don't do Germans on the reg will sometimes occasionally just do a German.
Case in point, Makabe.
Yes.
He'll bust out a German, and it'll look good. And he's a kind of big, chunky guy. I would say considerably less athletic than Shelton Benjamin.
Yes, considerably.
But he can do a bridging German suplex. You know who can do?
Shelton
Benjamin.
Maybe it's something to do with black people. Because remember when Booker T couldn't take German suplexes to save his life?
That's true.
And he kept bumping on Benoit's head?
That's right. Yeah, I don't know. And you think just by osmosis, Shelton would kind of pick up the ability to do a half-decent bridge, but he just fucking can't. It's actually amazing. It's like, I'm now interested from, like, a science perspective why he can't do it.
Well, also, too, like, he was, like, an amateur wrestler.
Yeah.
And he went through the WWE system where, with Brock Lesnar, like, presumably, at some point, he knew how to do and take them. But maybe just all those years of not doing them has resulted in him forgetting how to take them.
I guess. I'm not as appalled by the taking. But that being said, he did take a terrible one from, I think, in the Shibata match.
Shibata match, yeah.
Yeah, that was otherwise a good match. But the doing of them, because you can decide whether or not you're going to do them, and he always decides to do them.
Yeah.
And
look at anybody's forcing him to do them.
Yeah, I don't think Jado and Geto are in the back going, "Oh, you better do that German." Well, maybe they are for their own amusement. That's the but like from an actual legitimate standpoint, there's no way anyone would be telling him to do it. So he's deciding to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's never watched his own matches.
He hasn't watched the tapes.
And no one's ever had the heart to tell him. Because maybe, I don't know how things work in Japan, because like they don't get a lot of black guys in Japan. Nope. So maybe they're all kind of racists, or at least, they're not racist, but prejudiced, and are all scared of the black guy, thinking that he'll, like, you know, they haven't, the last black guys they heard about were like the East-West rap gang wars of the mid-90s, and they just assume Shelton and his crew will cap them if they speak ill of his terrible German suplexes. This is my theory.
That is a valid point.
Yeah.
They do not have very many blacks. And the ones they do are Big Daddy Yum Yum.
Man, I'm going to say the ROH partnership, even though it's fairly young, is going to be a considerable step up from the NWA partnership for New Japan. I'll take Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly over Big Jax Dane, Michael Tarver,
Big Daddy Yum Yum,
the aforementioned Big Daddy Yum Yum,
Rob Conway.
Yeah, everyone. That's everyone they've said.
That's everyone
they've all been.
Yeah. Oh, Wes Briscoe.
Bad. Wes Briscoe, lest we forget.
How can you forget Wes Briscoe?
Man.
God, Wes Briscoe was terrible.
Yeah. Before the Gracies showed up in New Japan, you were almost guaranteed that the NWA match would be the worst match on the show.
Yes.
Unless Izuku was doing something prominent.
Which, yeah, but at least he disappeared for a little while.
Yeah. But the G1 was quite a thing. Meltzer and co. kept saying ad nauseum, it's the best pro wrestling tournament of all time. It might be, although you could make a pretty good case for last year, too. And I think last year had a couple... Probably if you averaged out everything, this year does come out on top. But I think the highest end ones from last year were higher than the highest end ones from this year. And actually, Meltzer's ratings agree with me on that, because there were a couple 5 stars last year, and there were...
Yeah, there aren't any 5s.
Yeah, but there were, like, 7 4 3/4 stars, so that's pretty awesome, and you could definitely make a 5-star case for a few of them.
That raises the average, but, yeah, when you have 5 stars on a show and you don't have 5 stars in the next year...
Yeah.
Pretty clear what was probably the best show. Unless it's 5 stars and then a bunch of 3s.
Yeah.
Which there wasn't last year.
No, last year was super strong as well. But, yeah, so I don't know. I'd have to look at everything to see what was better between last year and this year. But I can say that this year was pretty goddamn good. I'm going to put you on the spot. What was your favorite match from the tournament? Although I think I know the answer.
Actually. You know the answer.
Yeah.
The answer is, of course, Shibata versus... this is going to be a very bold statement.
Bold it up.
The greatest worker in the history of professional wrestling.
That is bold. I'm not going to argue with you.
He may be the greatest thing that's ever happened to wrestling.
This reminds me... Well, I guess we should say who it is for Tomoaki Honma. Which reminds me, after we record this, have you seen either of Honma's, his 2 big... death matches with Yamakawa from 99 and 2000?
No. I've only seen New Japan stuff from, the last 2 years.
Okay. Which is good stuff, and probably, his best, consistent performance was this year's G1. But he was a replacement. How amazing is that? He was a replacement.
But they had to put somebody in, they're like, Honma, I guess, and then Honma just fucking killed it.
Fucking killed it, losing every match in the process.
Oh, but he shouldn't have.
No, he shouldn't have. They had a few ways to do it, and if they were going to give him a win, and they chose none of them.
Yeah. 0-10.
Because the first one, which would have been the biggest and coolest, was that Shibata match where, like, the crowd wanted it. Well, the crowd always wants it because I'm going to say he and Ishii are probably the two most over guys in the Fed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And the crowd was, like, begging for it. And there was a point where they definitely could have pulled the trigger and made it happen. And if it wasn't a tournament, and it didn't affect the booking coming out of it, they could have even called an audible based on the crowd. I don't know how often they do that there, but they definitely could have. But they couldn't in this situation because of the tournament.
Yeah. Because Shibata still had to factor into it.
Exactly. Yeah. And so they didn't do that. And then the last day of the tournament was him and Shelton, where Shelton was already mathematically out of it, so it wouldn't matter if Honma beat him, but Honma still didn't beat him. And then the tournament finals, where he's out of the tournament now. They had a singles match with him and Naito, and maybe that could be the win in the big show at the Dome. It didn't win that either. So he needs a win. If you've been following Drew on Facebook and Twitter, most of it has been concerning Honma getting a big win by the end of the year or Drew rioting.
Yeah, hashtag Honma or riot.
Yeah. I hope they do. It's not like it's just us who like him. He's super fucking over.
Yeah. It makes me wonder how much of the backstage stuff really affects why he doesn't win, and his history of being involved in sketchy business.
Being involved in sketchy business, having a forehead that rivals Abdul the Butcher.
Yeah.
Yakuza connections.
A face that only a mother could love.
Yeah. Probably having one of the hepatitises.
Maybe. Probably hardcore on the juice.
Oh, but that doesn't hurt anyone in Japan.
That's true.
Yeah, that's the least of anyone's worries. Yeah, Hanma is a orange monster, but he's great. All right, so what was your second favorite match?
Shibata Tanahashi.
Yeah, that was really good. I love that match. And we get to see it again at one of the two big September shows for New Japan, which is cool. I'm trying to think what my favorite stuff was. I really liked the finals were
finals were crazy.
Okada Nakamura was really good.
Okada AJ was good.
I liked Okada Suzuki. I really liked as well.
Okada Suzuki was good. AJ Suzuki was good.
AJ Suzuki, of course. That Meltzer sort of put that as his favorite. The way he was talking about it, it seemed like he was going to give that 5 stars, but went with the 4 3/4.
Yeah. There was a couple Goto matches in there as well too. Yeah.
Goto Tenzan was 4.5. Goto Okada was really good. Goto and Styles in the same block? No. What else did Goto do? I'm pulling stuff up here.
There was so many matches. It's kind of hard to remember all of them.
Yeah.
We're forgetting Yano and Carl Anderson.
Yano and Carl Anderson was a delight.
Carl is an amazing worker.
Yeah. That was super fun.
Carl is the kind of guy that will take any 3 syllables and use it in the RVD style, no matter what it is.
Yes, to mock Yano. And your phone confused me. There we go. Excuse me.
Hairball.
I'm good. So just looking at stuff. So no good. So the first day, the last 3 matches were all really strong. Tanahashi Hanma, which I really liked. Shibata Nakamura was actually really, really good.
Yeah.
And Okada AJ, all good. Then the next day we had, Nothing great, actually. The two best on day 2 would have been Ishii Kojima, which is good.
Yep.
And that had the apron DDT cell that you lost your mind for.
Amazing.
Yeah, and Nagata Hanma, which was good. Then the next day, nothing great until Goto Suzuki was decent. Tanahashi Kojima was good, and Okada Makabe was good. But nothing world-beating there.
Nope.
Then we got Ishii Hanma on day 4, really good. Nakamura Nagata, really good. Naito AJ, really good.
Yeah, Naito AJ was good.
And
it had a cool finish.
Yeah. Yeah, and Naito getting the win, which caught me off guard.
Yeah.
And Anderson Okada, good. And Shibata Tanahashi, awesome. That was a hell of a show, actually. Like, the top 6 matches were all really good.
How about the fucking spinning back chop?
Oh my god.
From Shibata to Tanahashi.
And it's funny, because in previous Shibata Tanahashi meetings, because they did that Shibata Goto versus Tanahashi Makabe a couple months ago, like with Shibata's like kill you with elbows in the corner and then the dropkick of doom, it seemed like he went a little lighter on Tanahashi when he did that, but in this match, he hit a motherfucking spinning back chop that was harder than I have ever seen anyone hit anyone else.
And he buckled.
Oh yeah, it was as close to a knockout as you can get without an actual knockout. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Shibata is one day going to break his own arm doing it.
There's a good chance.
It was crazy. And yeah, that match just completely ruled. And that, yeah, we get to see that next week. And I'm assuming Tanahashi probably gets his win back and then challenges Styles for the title in October. Is my thinking.
Seems about right.
Yeah. And then the next day, what's good, bitches? Shibata Benjamin, Styles Goto, which was good. Nakamura Hanma, also good. Although I remember having a weird... Oh, they blew Hanma's roll-up.
Yes.
And like... Nakamura just did not go with it, and then he knew he fucked up, and was like, what are you gonna do? And then just like stomped on him.
Yeah.
And Naito Okada, really good, which I thought that was as good as their Don't Show match.
Undercard heavyweight title match.
Yes, the semi-main event world title match. Then the next day we got Shibata Kojima, which is good. Anderson Goto was good. The Styles Tenzan was pretty good, actually. And Tanahashi Ishii, which is good. Not as good as their last year's one, but I don't think it possibly could have been, because like their one last year was perfect.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
Like, and like last year, like much more so than this year. Ishii was basically in Honma's position. Ishii never won. And for whatever reason, on like day 2 of the G1 last year, they put Ishii Tanahashi main event in Osaka, Ishii's hometown, and the crowd was begging for it. And that one, unlike any Honma match, they actually gave the crowd the win.
Yep.
With a fucking Steiner screwdriver that he murdered Tanahashi with.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything about that was real good.
Tanahashi gets murdered a lot.
Yeah, he does actually. For a top guy, he's not afraid to completely get his ass kicked. Next up, the Tenzan Goto, which is really good. Styles Suzuki, of course, is great. Nagata Shibata was excellent as well.
Yep.
As was Nakamura Ishii. That was a hell of a show as well. That's like 4.5 star plus matches on a show, which is a pretty strong fucking show. Next day, the Tenzan Yano, of course.
Yeah.
Then we got Goto Naito, which is pretty good. Styles Archer, which is probably Archer's best match. Shibata Hanma, of course. The maybe one of the best sub-11-minute matches of all time. It went 10:47. Okada Yujiro, I don't think we watched, and Tanahashi Nakamura, which is really good too. And Tanahashi won with a Japanese leg roll clutch. That was an interesting one.
Scott, there's a reason why we didn't watch that Yujiro Okada match.
Oh, because Yujiro was in it?
Because Yujiro would have made it awful.
Good call. I think that makes sense.
Take the title off him, kick him out of Bullet Club, fire him. All in one day.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. Then the next 2 days, they weren't super strong overall. Styles Anderson was pretty good. And Okada Goto was good that day. And then the next day, I don't remember there being much. Shibata Ishii, which is good. Again, not as good as last year, that was one of the 5 stars last year. And Tanahashi Nagata was alright. And not much else that day. Then the last day, not much until Okada Suzuki, which I really liked.
Yeah. And
Nakamura Fale, which is probably Fale's best match.
Well, other than murdering Hanma, but...
Oh, we didn't talk about that. Yeah, Fale Hanma. Oh, boy. Poor guy. Just tossed him as high and far as he could with the bad luck fall. And it didn't go well for poor Hanma. Just landed right on his neck. Legs folded over his whole body. Ass over tea kettle. It was just rough.
I feel like Hanma asks for it. Like,
I'm sure he does.
Just do the meanest thing he can to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just drop me directly on my neck. People will cheer, and I hopefully won't be paralyzed. And that's how it goes. And then the finals day, I really liked the junior tag title match, the Time Splitters against Red Dragon.
Yep.
Hell of a Japanese debut for Kyle O'Reilly in front of 18,000 people at a dome. Pretty good first match in a country. I would like my first match in a country to be that.
I agree.
And then Naito Hanma was good, which when we watched the last day, we watched the whole show and skipped Naito Hanma because we thought Hanma might get the win. So our main event was Naito Hanma.
Yeah.
He unfortunately did not.
We were wrong.
And I also think because of that, we actually enjoyed this match than anyone else I've talked to. Because Meltzer gave it like maybe 3.5, and like I remember loving it, loving the match, just because we were so behind Hanma.
Yeah, you're super into him winning,
rooting for every single thing, and like there were some good near falls and stuff. So we got very into that match. And then Anderson Ishii, who at that point should not have been wrestling at all because he had a separated shoulder.
Yeah, and then he kind of fucked up his stalling brainbuster off the second roll. Almost killed Carl. Yeah,
that was rough. And then Shibata Goto was so goddamn violent, even for Shibata Goto.
Yeah. They hurt each other more than usual.
Like Goto kicked Shibata as hard as he could in the chest. And Shibata, I'm pretty sure, was hurt for the rest of the match.
Yeah.
And, but, it was still good because it was Shibata Goto. And then Tanahashi Styles was really good. And I think we're going to see that again for the title next month because Tanahashi beat Styles and Styles is the champion.
Yep.
And then the finals, Okada Nakamura, which was cool. Because just at face value, it was really, really good. But it felt different than pretty much all the tournament league matches because I don't think one tournament match went longer than 17 minutes, and this was 23, so it felt like the longer, more epic type match, and so it was nice that that the final set itself apart from all the league matches, and it's two pretty damn good guys to be doing it. Maybe you could make a case for them actually being the two best wrestlers in the world. Who aren't named Hanma.
Who aren't named Hanma,
yeah,
of course,
so,
yes.
Caveat on that, but... Yeah, so... Yeah, it was pretty great, and now we get the two big September shows stemming from that. So we get the big Tanahashi Shibata. We get to see Yoshihashi potentially winning 2 titles in a weekend. challenging for the tag titles with Okada one day and challenging Yujiro for the Never title one day, which on paper is one of the bar none the worst title match New Japan can produce right now. Yujiro versus Yoshihashi.
Pretty much.
Like, I defy you to do worse than that. So that's gonna be interesting. I hope.
Izuka.
Yeah, make it a three-way with Izuka, and then I guess that's worse. But that's about all you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And then Okada defending his Dome Show title shot against Anderson.
Big Bad Carl.
Big Bad Carl in a match which I hope is, at this point, just exclusively Rainmaker versus Gunstun sequences.
That would be pretty insane.
If they just do that for 15 minutes.
Yeah, just over and over and over again.
Yeah, and then eventually one of them hits it, and which I guess will be Okada, and wins. That's what I think it should be.
That's what it'll probably be.
And yeah, so those would be, and then there's the bigger show in October, which the only thing you can sort of point to is Tanahashi Styles, and it'll probably be for the junior tag. It'll be Time Splitters against
Winners of Kozlov.
Winners of Kozlov and Romero versus Bucks. I'd rather it be Bucks, but they just recently did that, so maybe it'll be Kozlov and Romero. Although they've done that a million times too, because they only have 3 teams in the junior division.
Yeah, pretty much.
So either way, it'll be good. I'd rather see Splitters Bucks again because the one they did in June was awesome.
Yep.
And that's what I got on that.
Yeah, that's the amazing G1 that was from this year. Too far. Yeah. That wasn't the only show that went on recently. There was another show that went on.
PWG Battle of Los Angeles that we didn't see.
Yeah.
Because we ran a show against it.
Because we ran directly against it. We took away some of their market.
We did. I think everyone at our show, had we not done the show, would have gone to the Battle of Los Angeles. So, I'm sorry, Super Dragon, we took money out of your pocket.
Don't tell them that. They'll come after us.
That's true.
Assuming he can get across the border.
So they're going to say, assuming he can get out of bed.
Assuming he can get into his rascal scooter and make it across the border.
Okay, if you don't think I want to see fan art of Super Dragon on a rascal, you are dead wrong.
Don't forget, it's the internet. If it exists, there's porn of it.
I didn't say I wanted porn of it. I just wanted a picture of Super Dragon on a rascal. I'm a simple man.
Would you be against it being porn?
I would not.
Then we'll find it. It's there.
All right, DeviantArt, don't let me down. But yeah, we did a show.
We did do a show with some people from not here.
From far off lands.
From as far away as Washington.
You know people actually came from further than that.
No. Everybody's from Washington.
You've always had a tenuous grasp on geography.
I do.
How far away do you think Washington is from here?
20 minutes?
Okay. So, I was right about you being bad at geography, but you're actually... So you think Washington, which is 20 minutes away, is the furthest that anyone came. So you think that all the other people were from closer than 20 minutes away.
Yeah, everybody else is local.
All right. Well...
Scott, we don't call it British Columbia for nothing.
Do you think we're part of England?
Yes.
Okay.
This is England.
This is Sparta. You'll be surprised to know.
Oh.
And
so where are all the sexy boys?
There are a dearth of sexy boys considering this is Sparta. I haven't seen nearly enough abs today.
Disappointing.
CGI abs. Were
CGI.
they CGI abs?
No, they're real abs.
Huh. Good for them.
They went insane with that shit. With their boot camp.
Well, if I ever need abs, I'll go to the 300 boot camp.
You'll get them painted on your singlet.
Done. Wait, is that all I need to do?
Yeah.
Then we're good.
If you draw them on, you have them.
That's true. Why?
Exactly. You don't need to worry about it. You're fine. You're set.
Because it is cosmetic at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So as long as people see abs of some sort,
yeah,
then mission accomplished.
As long as they can make it out, they're like, oh, you work out.
All right. Then I'm good.
Oh, you only eat protein.
That's correct.
It's nothing but protein. Protein, working out, and jerking off. That's all you do. Well, you gotta get rid of the bad stuff.
Gotta get rid of the bad stuff and get that glow.
Yeah.
That's where the jerking off comes in.
Thank you, Glenn Gilberti.
Thank you, Disco. I didn't expect to see
Disco with a Q.
That's right. When he was
Filthy animal.
I was gonna say I wasn't confident in saying that though. I'm like, was he a filthy animal? I guess he was. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, he was part of the group.
Was it all caps Disco with a Q?
Yep.
I can get behind that.
He also somehow was in the Wolf Pack for a little while.
Oh, he was Red and Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a guy I didn't expect to see or talk about today, and yet both have happened. Because Drew subjected me to a bunch of YouTube year 2000 WCW Thunder.
Full length, baby.
Full length. They're all, well, I don't know if they're all up there, but enough are up there to ruin your day.
You get some Chronic, you get some Fat Brian Knobs.
And the Mamelukes are all over those fucking shows.
Yep.
Big Vito and Johnny the Bull.
They love their Italians.
They were on like a multiple segments per Thunder.
Yeah.
It's really weird. I guess they were popular.
3 segments and they only wrestled on one.
Yeah. Wrestled each other on one.
Yes.
That was weird.
And then got beat up by Kevin Nash.
By Kevin Nash, because that's what happens.
Oh, yeah.
Because the rules are the rules.
The rules are if you're a booker, you can do whatever the fuck you want. So Nash's like, yeah, I'm going to do it.
I'm going to beat up these fucking mooks.
I'm just going to take him down. They cut a promo on Vince Russo.
Yeah. Yeah, this all happened. But I feel like we are roughly 14 years late in reporting this news to you.
Wow.
So we'll go a little more current.
14 years ago, Steve Schneider wasn't even born yet, so
It's true.
this is news to him.
But also, he didn't come to our show this year, so he doesn't get talked about. Although, he actually was mentioned during a match on our show.
Yep.
So, which is one more time than he deserved. But yeah, so contrary to popular belief, or at least your unpopular belief, we did have people come from further than Washington, which is actually more than 20 minutes away, also.
30?
A couple hours.
Okay.
I guess the border is 20 or 30 away.
I accept the rules of your Punjab prison.
I'm glad. You know they don't live... You know everyone in Washington doesn't live directly on the border, and they're just waiting to get the call to come over. They have a little distance.
I would.
I'm sure you would.
Makes sense to me.
I guess it does.
Yeah, live as close to the place you're going to go to.
For the one time a year you go to it.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time...
Well, you just live there.
You just live there.
This is where you live. That's your house now.
I see. Well, these are all reasonable theories. I don't know how accurate any of them are. But yeah, I think they came about 2 or 3 hours. But then we had some people fly here. I don't know if you were aware of this. We had some people come on what's called an aeroplane.
An aeroplane?
Yes. A-E-R-O plane.
Hmm.
When did we stop spelling it like that, by the way? Or did we ever, and I'm crazy?
I don't know.
Has it always been air?
It's always been airplane.
Never aeroplane?
It might have been aeroplane back in the day.
Which day?
In the budding 30s and 40s.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And was it actually at one point, or am I completely losing my mind?
I don't know. Science.
Look it up. Look up aeroplane. This is the weirdest topic divergence, but I'm legitimately concerned about my own mental well-being as to whether or not this is actually a thing. It has to be, right? I hope someone's listening right now going, yes, of course, it's still aeroplane. Anything?
I'm getting there.
What's the internet say?
The internet says...
Siri, what is an aeroplane?
Well, let's see. We've got an aeroplane jelly, the Australian brand of gelatin dessert.
That is helping no one.
The common aeroplane, or Phaedma shepherdii, is a medium-sized butterfly.
That doesn't help either. Wait.
Aeroplane magazine, a British magazine devoted to aviation history and preservation.
Okay, that's something.
Aeroplane the musician, a Belgian new disco musician.
Maybe
the
that's
Aeroplanes, an English rock band from Liverpool.
Hmm.
And then an album and a few songs that are called Aeroplane.
Hmm.
But that is all.
This is less information than I was hoping for.
There is an Imogen Heap song.
I like Imogen
There is a Ramon song.
I believe it's pronounced Ramones.
Yes, Ramones. Ramon. There is a Red Hot Chili Peppers song.
Which is undoubtedly terrible.
Yes, and that is everything.
Well, looks like this
Oh! Ooh.
What?
Hold on, I'm getting there.
New information has come to light?
Yes. They were, in fact, known as aeroplanes.
Oh, thank Christ.
But I can't really tell you where they were stopped being called aeroplanes and being called airplanes.
I don't care. This is enough for me. I'm happy now.
Because at the very top it says, oh no, it goes on the picture. Airplane / aeroplane.
All right, I'll take it. I'm gonna call that a win, folks. What the hell were we talking about? Oh yeah, the people who came here on aeroplanes. We had first timer. Only first timer? Yes.
Kelly?
No, Kelly's come before, and he lives here.
Well, nobody likes Kelly, so I forget about him a lot.
We had one Ryan Norton / Ryan Brody make his first trek here.
Faggot.
You wrestled him last year.
Yep.
Is this where you determined he was a faggot?
Yep. Couple of walls.
Oh, I was gonna say, did he try any stuff with you?
He tried to diddle me.
He's a diddler.
He's a diddler.
Even I remember him insisting that he wasn't, but
He lied to your face.
I guess that's exactly what a diddler would say.
That's exactly what a diddler would say. I ain't no diddler. Well, your finger's in a kid, so...
That's pretty damning evidence, I will say that.
Caught red-handed. Literally red-handed.
No good for anyone.
Ah.
So Ryan Brody came, fairly, not quite last minute, but we weren't really expecting them until we saw them in New York in June. The Brothers Harms of Omega and Mike Wild, or as they were renamed, Omega Wild and Mike. Omega was given the Wild surname. Yeah, I don't think they really had any intention of coming, and then we saw them in New York and hung out and had good times as we always do together, and then like a week after that they said, hey, we're going to come to your show. And I'm like, well, that's unexpected and awesome, so good on you guys. Thank you for coming. And then also a very late edition, one Christopher G. Frank. G standing for... Gee, I can't believe you came to the show. That's terrible. Yeah, because when I first asked him, he said would love to, but can't, because he had a work trip that weekend, and then the work trip was canceled, and then he told one Drew Cordero of Beyond Wrestling, hey, my work trip's canceled, so I can do the Beyond Wrestling show in Rhode Island that weekend. And then Chris's wife, Letitia, said, hey Chris, why don't you go to Vancouver that weekend? And Chris is like, oh yeah, I guess I can go to Vancouver now that weekend. So, sorry Drew, do you, I think the conversation with Drew was like, hey Drew, do you really need me that weekend for Beyond? He's like, I think one of the other guys in your tag match dropped out, so do whatever the fuck you want. So he did, in fact, do whatever the fuck you want. And came here, which was also...
Good
nice.
idea.
And then our furthest traveled, further than the 20 minutes from Washington.
Debatable.
Came the 11-hour aeroplane ride from England, that being Christopher G. Goodwin. I don't know what the G stands for. I don't think
Goodwin. Christopher Goodwin.
Like the name Goodwin again, or Good One?
Goodwin.
Christopher. Good One, Goodwin.
The Good One, Goodwin.
Why did you ever use that? I would use Good One, Goodwin.
I would too.
Another wasted opportunity.
Oh, Chris, you're awful.
I don't know if Chris is awful, because, although this isn't going to help, because I'm pretty sure you hate Kelly too, but Chris and Kelly had a pretty goddamn good match.
They did. And we didn't think that anybody on the card would be able to top it. Then we did.
And then we had to go and try to do it.
Where my foot is still sore.
And we are... How far removed are we from it? 2 weeks? 2 weeks removed from it.
Scott?
What?
I need to ask you a personal question.
Uh-oh.
On a scale of 1 to 10...
With 6 being the highest.
With 6 being the highest and 4 being also the highest.
Okay. A new wrinkle. I like this.
How much would you say...
I'd give it an 8.
Oh.
Go ahead.
How much would you say that you like the night before a show to have a full-blown panic attack?
On the standard 1 to 10 scale, 10 being the highest, I do sit around a 1 for that. I'm against before the show panic attacks. I found a good way to avoid these before the show panic attacks.
Do you have a cure for panic attacks? Pre-show panic attacks?
It's not a perfect cure. It definitely helps. That being having a place to do the show that night before.
When you go to bed.
When you go to bed that night. Because that was not the case last year.
No.
Through no fault or lack of effort of my own, I must say. I take zero... Well, I don't take zero responsibility. I take zero blame for all the fucking bullshit that went down last year. Like, last year I had the place locked down, like, 4 months before. And then the closer it got to the show, the less locked down it was. And it's tough when you deal with people who don't operate by the rules of capitalism, and you're trying to give them money for something, and it seems like they just don't want it and would rather fuck you over than get your money.
Yep.
And it's not like the standard, like like sneaky foreign person, and these were sneaky foreign people who will, like, fuck you over and take your money. They don't take your money, but still fuck you over. Because that is now the new priority over money.
Yeah. Make personal enemies over keeping their money.
Yes. It was so weird. And then, and I didn't know I was totally fucked on the venue until, like, the Tuesday before the Friday show last year. Then I had to run around everywhere. And I live on or beside, depending on how you define it, and an Indian reserve, and they've got, like, a band meeting hall that actually, when I went inside, is an awesome wrestling venue. It's, like, perfect, and they have a big gym, so figured I could use one of those. Sounded like I'd be able to. It's gonna be kind of expensive, but still do it, because having a place to do it is better than having no place to do it.
Yep.
But then they started getting all weird when I said we were filming it, and then there was all this, like, stuff I had to fill out, and then I think they ended up just saying no. I can't even actually remember what the final thing on it was, but we ended up not being able to do it. That I found out the morning of the show, and the people with the ring were already on their way to driving the ring to this location that now could not hold the show. So at that point, my new plan was to go to every local church that might have had a gym and see if we could do it there. Had no success at any of them, and then one suggested community centers, so I tried a bunch of community centers, no success with them, but then one said, try this place in Richmond, which is basically the city next to Vancouver, or south of Vancouver. And because they've held some martial arts things there before. I'm like, martial arts, close enough, let's do that. And then they actually did it. And it wasn't the cheapest thing in the world, but it was a gym, and it worked fine. So, so that was me losing my mind the day of the show. And the way it turned out, where we did the show last year, none of us knew existed until 2 hours before the show. So it's things like that are not good for my blood pressure. So this year came around, and we're going to do it at the same place as last year, which again wasn't super cheap, but was okay. And then I was informed, because we were doing it Labor Day weekend, wanted to do the Friday, Saturday, which was August 29th, 30th. They said, I can't do the 30th. We can do the 29th and 31st. I'm like, Friday, Sunday, so wasn't thrilled about that. So, and this was at least like months before, so had time. So basically did the same thing. Went around, didn't physically go around. Basically emailed every church with a gym, where I thought might have a gym, and said, hey, we're doing this, can we do it there? And got about 4 yeses, so went and checked out all of those, and picked the best one in terms of the gym setup and its location and convenience and price. And so found a very conveniently located one at 1/3 the price of last year, and actually had that locked down like 2 or 3 months in advance. So let's always do it that way.
Yeah. From now on, let's choose option B.
Yeah. So, and I talked to them, and it's been, 2 weeks since the show, so, and I haven't got the call from them saying, hey, you ruined the gym. You can never come back here, and you're going to jail. Didn't get that. I see they have not cashed my $500 security deposit check, so that is a good thing. I hope they don't just decide to do it one day, although they're religious people, so I think if they fuck me, God will cast them into hell. Or at least they think that, which is all I need. Day of the show, we actually knew where we were going, which was always nice. And then when we got there, we found they had a room full of all the chairs in the world. So when we were setting up the show, and also we, a little more wisely than last year, put the ring right beside the stage, instead of 1/4 mile away from the stage.
Yeah, that's all right.
Because it's always good to have the people watching the show squinting to be able to see the action going on. So we actually had everything nice and close. And then Drew had the fun idea, because we figured we have in the range of 15 to 20 people coming, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Figured we'd have somewhere in the range of 15 to 20, so instead of setting up 15 to 20 chairs, we set up...
I think we counted. I don't know what the...
Oh, did you count?
Oh, well, Chris stood on the turnbuckle and did a quick mathematical equation.
I didn't know that.
And it was like about 200.
Yeah. So roughly, certainly 10 times more chairs than we needed. And then later in the day, I thought of one thing that would make it even better, but didn't have the time or resources to do it, which would be to print up reserved signs and put them on every single chair.
Every single chair.
And then whoever came in to watch, we wouldn't let them sit there.
Yeah, they have to stand. Sorry, that's reserved.
Yeah, standing room only.
Yeah.
200 empty chairs.
Yeah.
I thought that would be great. But no. But, I don't know, I thought in basically every facet, I thought the show went better than last year.
Yeah, for sure. Mainly, too, because, like, last year, pretty early on in the second day, everybody started to really run out of energy.
Yeah.
And there was just no...
The heat
There was no heat, and everybody was just laying around, and like, people were taking a long time to plan their matches because there was no energy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of a bummer, actually.
Yeah, it was.
But this year, and then, have we ever run a tighter show than this year?
I think we've tried.
I'm sure
but it's
we
never
have.
happened.
I was gonna say, but in actually doing it, have we? Because I don't remember any long gap between any two matches.
No, there wasn't. Well, no, I don't think there was.
Like, everything ran pretty smooth. Like, I don't remember anything where a match was over and the people who were up next were saying, "Oh, well, give us 20 minutes.
Give us an hour."
Yeah, like, everyone was basically ready.
Yeah.
Once they were up, which doesn't seem like a lot to ask, but almost always is.
It is, yeah.
So I'm glad it wasn't an issue, because both days we had, I think, nine matches one day, 10 matches the other, maybe 9 both days. Mm-hmm. And both were right around 4 hours. And
that's good.
I recall versus in 2009 versus the World 6 Day 2 was 5 matches, and I believe went 10 hours.
Yes. But that's because there was a lot of fucking around in the middle.
Oh, yeah. Like a lot.
Yeah, like a lot of fucking around.
Yeah. But, and that's unacceptable. And And we went pretty long with both last year.
Yeah, well, I remember the
With the
second day.
with the same or less matches than this year.
Because the second day, that girl was there to lock up for us.
And she got there at, like...
We told her 12, right?
I think we'd originally told her, like, 11.
Yeah.
And then she got there around 11, and
we still had, like, 3 matches.
Didn't get to lock up till about 1.
Yeah, I think it was around 1.
Yeah. So that was no
At least she was cool about it.
Yeah, she was nice enough about it, but same thing. There was a couple matches where way too much time before them, but this I thought everything went really smooth.
Yeah,
I thought match quality overall was better than last year.
Yeah, for sure.
I liked both of my matches this year better than both of my matches last year.
I got the fortunate duty of working double duty both days.
You and...
I wrestled more than Mitch. Mitch had 3.
Did no one else do 4?
I had 4, because I was the only one in the tag. I wrestled the tag.
That's
and
right.
Then you, Kelly, and Dan all got...
Only someone who is in the tag...
And the finals.
And finals.
No, because...
Wait, because Kelly didn't.
You, Kelly, and Dan got buys.
Yeah.
Justin wrestled
Mitch
and lost. That was Mitch, right?
Yeah.
So Mitch and Chewy wrestled 3.
And
I wrestled 4.
And Kelly and Dan also wrestled 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I got to wrestle 2, because I know when to job.
Because you're a princess. And I wrestled 4, and I will wish I will never have to wrestle 4 matches again.
Regret it forever.
But by the time the main event came, the main event day 2.
Yeah, because you had, like, 2, like, the first day you were first and second last. And second last was short.
Yeah, and that's because I was still tired from the opener.
Yeah.
Because we went pretty hard.
Oh, yeah.
And then Rob and I booked something really short.
Yeah.
Because I just told him, like, I'm tired and I don't think I'll remember a lot of stuff. And he's like, that's fine, I don't want to wrestle.
I was going to say, anyways. I don't think I've told you this since, but it was probably the next day, either the Sunday or Monday after the show. Rob specifically said to me he didn't know what, because oh god, I choked on my own vomit. Because he doesn't know you super well. He's only met you just the once. Just the once. No, twice. He's been here twice. Twice. This is the 3rd time. Yeah. So yeah, I've met him both times he was here before. Yeah. Oh, that's right. And but the first time he came, I was a young boy. Yeah. You were carrying bags. I was carrying bags. And because he wasn't in New York last year, and you weren't in New York this year. So didn't know you that well. Didn't know what it would be like to plan a match with you and do a match with you. And he's explicitly said, like, I didn't even ask, like, how's working Drew? Like, he brought it up. He said it was a delight planning the match with Drew and then doing it. He said he loved it. Because he worries about planning matches with people, because I guess he doesn't gel with some people planning-wise. And he said it was great. Said, like, you had good input, and you let him have input, and everything went really good. I think for me, my biggest concern with wrestling people that aren't you guys is that I always, like, I guess more recently I'm trying to be a better wrestler, and then now that I'm, like, so obsessed with New Japan, that I try to wrestle, like, New Japan wrestlers. And, like, that's kind of my concern, like, if I was to go wrestle for VBW, is that I'm wrestling guys that I don't really know, and if I'm trying to pull off the shit that you and I would do, or that Kelly and I would do, or that even Dan and I would do, like, I don't think that it would fly, and I don't want to go back to being, like, mediocre. Right. So when you're wrestling somebody you don't really know, and, like, I wasn't sure how much I could do with Rob. Like, I'm like, he's not going to want to take a bunch of forearms and a bunch of, like, real slaps, and he's not going to want to let me give him the Shibata in the corner or anything like that. It's okay, you made up for that the next day. I did. So it is hard to work with somebody, especially when you don't know them, but and the thing is, like, because I didn't talk to him the first 2 times he was here,
I didn't really know, like, his personality or, like, his work ethic or, like, what he was like in the ring.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he was definitely really easy to work with, and he didn't, like, he wasn't one of those people that, like, has to muddle over every decision. And he was just like, if it worked, it worked, and if it didn't, it didn't. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like, it was like, yeah, we can do that, or like, no, I don't really want to do that. And they're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He's super easy to work with.
And that's what he said. He said the planning was super easy, and he was really happy with it.
Yeah. The only thing that Dan said is that he had wished that I had done more offense. But the thing is, I was so tired, I was like, I'm going to forget anything we plan.
I have no offense.
Like, if we plan a bunch of spots and a bunch of sequences, there's a good chance I was going to forget them because I was just really tired.
Yeah.
And then come the next day, you and I had booked it, some stuff in advance.
Yeah.
But we still had to go through it on the day of, and then when we got there, and then Mitch didn't show up on time.
Yeah.
And then we were supposed to go third, and we ended up going second.
That's right, yeah.
And the thing with going, like, with that is, like, yeah, it's only one match, but that's, like, a 20, 25 minutes, like, that you're losing of time to plan everything, right? So then like, you get a little bit panicky, because then you're like, oh, we've had less time to plan it than we should have.
I noticed you were getting a little bit panicky.
Yeah.
Possibly because you were outright saying, I'm very nervous about this.
Yeah, well, just because I wanted it to be good. I didn't want it to be bad, right? And even though you and I have not really had that many bad matches against each other.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think we've ever had a bad match against one another. Yeah. And so it was just like, it was more of the lack of time we had to plan, and the fact that it was kind of a big match.
Yeah.
And then like I figured the crowd would be really into it, and then they were way more into it than I thought they would be.
That's always
when you're the second match
gratifying.
and you get people up on the apron already.
Doing the apron slapping, that was cool.
Yeah, well, that's a shout out to Cody for that.
I was saying, I think credit to Cody. So
Cody jumped up on that one, but yeah, that was like
sweet.
Everybody was up and like fired up for it too, right?
And
but then by the time came time for the finals, though, when we were planning it, and Dan was like, "This isn't me pussing out," but he's like, "But I think I should go out early," and I'm like, "This is me pussing out. I
want to go out early also.
I don't want to do 25 minutes or 20 minutes and then go out. I think like if I go out after like 8 minutes, I'm fine with that."
And I think the finals worked well.
Yes.
I think the finals didn't need to be half an hour.
No.
I think the total actually, if you want to fill time, I did all the match times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I can tell you exactly who was out and when.
Yeah, like that's the thing is like I also
like it's the end of a 2-day show. We don't need to do like the crazy epic thing. Whole thing was 18.
That's good.
That's interesting actually. You were out at Dan was out at 6. You were out at 12. Match was over at 18. Every 6 minutes.
Oh, that's pretty good though.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
You and I was 14:06, which is like exactly what we wanted. I think you said 15.
Yeah, it kind of felt longer than that.
It did. I was a little surprised at that, but that's we did a lot in 14.
We did, yeah. We crammed in a ton.
Yeah.
But
which I would rather do a lot in 14 than not do enough in 20.
Yeah. And you're gonna lose a lot more stuff from people if you're.
I'm actually surprised it was that much shorter than our because what was our Seattle? It was in the higher teens, wasn't it? It was like 18.
Yeah, around 18, I think.
I can probably tell you.
But the thing with that is we had a much more.
Yeah, 18.
We had much more crowd to play to.
Yeah, so there's a little more.
Yeah, like we did all the outside stuff.
And we did a little more time on submissions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was a really, really good 14.
Yeah, it was, and by the time we got to the main event, I was just so. And also, too, because, like, being a full-time student now and not being able to really exercise that much, and I'm legitimately in the worst shape I've ever been in. Like, so I'm over 200 pounds now.
Perfect time to make you do double duty both days.
Yes. Although we did talk about it, and I did agree to do it. Like, I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
And that's, it was nice for that not to be me this time, because there was a string of shows where I was working way too many matches, because it was our first ISUXDIX Super Show in 2012. Mm-hmm. I worked, if you count the Battle Royal, 3 matches in a day on day 2, so I did 4 matches that show. Yeah. Then I went to Beyond, and they do double 2-match tapings. So I worked double again there. And then our show in 2013, I did 3. Yeah, because I ended up doing, as did you. Because we did our singles on the first day into
a tag
match, and they're basically both full matches.
Yep.
And it was around that time I was saying, why am I the one who's working so many matches? I am not in good shape. We need to find another person who's not in good shape to do too many matches, and that was you.
That was me, absolutely. Why make the guy who's the most in shape in Kelly wrestle more when you can make the schlubs do it?
Hey, worked for Kevin Steen at PWG. He was always doing double duty, sometimes
triple duty, just because he wanted to be like, I'll put me in another match. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm good.
What's that? Someone didn't show up? I'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kevin, you're already in the main event. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll semi-main then main. Why not?
Just 2 unrelated matches back to back.
Yeah.
No big deal. But yeah, looking forward to. I am point 1. I'm glad we did a tournament. Point 2. I am looking forward to not doing a tournament next year. So we can work once on each day.
It worked out well though.
Yeah, it was cool.
It wasn't like because sometimes with tournaments, especially for like backyarding and like card shows like ours.
Would you call this the best 13-man tournament ever?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would.
Absolutely, best 13-man tournament that will ever happen.
Find me another good 13-man tournament. You can't do it.
And the thing with the tournament is like, you never know if people are like gonna get hurt, not be able to wrestle, or like people show up.
That was actually another thing. We got fucked 0 times on booking.
Yeah. I mean, nobody got hurt. Nobody had to pull out. I mean, other than Mike wrestling Rob, but that didn't affect booking at all. That was just the 2 of them wanting to wrestle each other.
Yeah, and then not wanting to wrestle each other.
Yeah.
I guess Rob sounded like he would be open to doing something else that day, but there wasn't really anything besides putting him in that
random cluster
6-man,
right?
which would do more. As far for him, would do more harm than good. Because I don't think he'd be thrilled about doing that.
No, I will say that I do have one regret of the show, which was. After the 6-man, I started fake selling my shoulder, and then throughout the rest of the course of the show, so my last three matches, I have to sell the shoulder because I was selling it.
Yeah.
And then through doing that, and Rob working it the entire match, and then you working it a bunch, by the time I got to the main event, my shoulder actually hurt. So I pulled the New Japan, which is when you get an injury and you work the injury.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter if you actually separate your shoulder, you stomp on it.
Yeah, or you actually broke your jaw, let's work punches forearms. The whole...
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, so that was the only thing, is by the time the show was done, I was like, my shoulder is so sore from selling.
Really hurts. Life imitates art.
Yeah, and I don't think I never landed on it, and I never felt anything pop or sprain or anything.
Yeah.
It was just general soreness from, taking a bump and then, holding my arm there and, rubbing my shoulder and my leg trap and stuff. And so by the end of it, I was like, oh my god, what am I doing?
Other unrelated point about the show, were you expecting, who would you have expected to have the most mic time on the show, and are you surprised that it was Chewy?
Yeah, absolutely. Is that just his way of wrestling less? Is talking on the mic more?
I don't know, because he still did lots of wrestling.
That's true. That's true.
It didn't. I don't think it cut down because the him and Mitch was one of the longer matches that day, but both were great because I think both promos really. By the way, I didn't know he was cutting either promo. No. He just entered both days and grabbed the mic from me. I'm like, all right, go for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, both really added to it because for him and Mitch, I think he was worried that he would get face heat over Mitch.
Yeah.
So he fucking nipped that shit in the bud.
Yeah, absolutely.
And got a heel promo on him, and Mitch got nothing but face heat.
Yeah.
And then kind of the same thing against Chongo on the next day. Really wanted to establish that he was the heel in this match.
Yeah.
And which is all the more impressive because in the first match of the first day, he was a face.
Yeah, absolutely.
Complete face.
Yeah, complete face. Yeah.
So
he pulled the Claudio.
He pulled the Claudio, and in a pretty fairly believable, non-stupid way.
Yeah.
Because, like, he didn't, like, come out for the Mitch match and said, he didn't say, like, fuck all the fans, I'm a bad guy now.
Yeah.
He said, hey, Mitch, here's the deal.
Yeah.
You know, I'm better than you, I'm more established. Sorry I have to do this, but I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah.
And, like, that's a believable enough thing for a guy who was a face at the beginning of the show to say, and it doesn't come off like, oh, he turned in the middle of the show for no reason.
Yeah.
No, it was just so to make sure Mitch gets the face heat, and he did.
Yeah.
And then Mitch, I guess we should talk about.
Meh.
All right, fuck him.
He's not important. He's never done anything.
He has now.
He has now. He's the Chris Jericho of ECW.
But in 10 years, when we unite some other two titles, we won't acknowledge that Mitch did it first.
No, of course not. That's not how it works.
Well, yeah, Mitch has a bunch of belts now. I guess he's...
That are bigger than his torso combined.
That are definitely bigger than his torso, that he cannot wear all three at the same time.
They might weigh more than him, too.
The fucking GBYWN belt is so heavy.
Oh, it's stupidly heavy.
It almost put my luggage over weight coming back from New York when I won it.
That is the thickest leather.
Yeah.
Like, it's super thick.
And that belt doesn't fasten either for some odd
No,
reason.
yeah, it's weird.
It's weird. I don't know if you had the opportunity to try to fasten it in the 2 hours that you're the champion.
Yeah, Dan put it on me when I entered, but then when I was doing high fives, it snapped off.
Yeah,
it
doesn't really do up. It's weird. But that doesn't stop it from being 58 pounds.
Yeah, that's a heavy belt.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Mitch has all the belts now. You had a belt for a bit, and you were the only other title change, right? Yeah, because Dan retained and Kelly. That was good. It would have been. I think it would have been a little silly if we
all retained.
Or no, if we did like a bunch of title changes.
Oh yeah.
Because like I think that would have taken away from Mitch's like, hey, Mitch, you wanted the titles, and you are the 12th title change today.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, so it's good we only had that many. And Mitch, I believe, is going to BXW's big show in Pennsylvania in November. I think it's like his parents. I don't know what his family's birthday present to him. I have no idea what his family situation is. I assume he has like 6 different parents of varying ethnicities, and that's why he looks like that.
It's possible. I mean, it explains a lot. What race is he?
You know.
The one.
You know, Chinese native Jewish. Black.
White?
He's got a lot going on.
He's just a lot of things.
He's many things to many people.
Yep.
If you need him to be something, he'll be that.
Yeah. I mean, props for Mitch, man. He took an ass kicking all weekend.
He did. Yeah.
He didn't have any opponent that wasn't like. I mean, Chris Frank was his easiest opponent.
Yeah.
But like Chewy beat the shit out of him.
Chewy beat the shit out of him.
Kelly beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, he did.
Even Dan beat the shit out of him a little bit when he was in there with him.
Yeah.
And like I did a little bit, but not a ton.
Yeah. And I got to get a couple things on him.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you beat the shit out of him too.
Oh yeah. So I guess you could say I had 3 matches, but one of them was 90 seconds.
Yes.
So not a big deal.
Yeah, we all got to beat up on Mitch.
Yeah, I did get to headbutt him very hard.
That's true, and I was scared.
Which, then you brought up your worst case scenario, and you didn't tell me till after.
Yeah.
But even after it happened and everything was over and had gone fine, I was still terrified retroactively at the possibility of that happening, because I literally didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Because Drew said to me, hey, you know, at the end, after Mitch won the titles and then you came out, and then you guys did a quick thing, for the titles, just to further put Mitch over, what would have happened if you had headbutted him and completely knocked him out? I'm like, oh God, what would have happened? That would have been the worst ending ever.
Yeah.
Mitch, triumphantly against all odds, wins all the titles against 3 other big names from the Fed. Scott comes out as the final challenger, headbutts him, knocks him out, and wins, thus negating everything that was done all weekend. Holy shit, that would have been terrible.
Yeah, that would have sucked.
But I didn't surprise him with the headbutt. I said, hey, can I headbutt you? Because I really do like headbutting people. Because it doesn't hurt me at all, and it really hurts the other person. Not that I want to hurt the other person.
Yeah.
But I'm fine doing them, and as long as the other person is okay taking them, I can pull off a good-looking and good-sounding headbutt.
Definitely good sounding.
Yeah. Which, and karmically, I'm down a few headbutts because we didn't get to do me and Dan versus Mike Damage and Ian Finnegan in New York because we got rained out that day, and that match was going to have about 38 headbutts in it. So I had headbutt blue balls basically. So I had to
get it out.
Had to get at least one out of my system, and some people I wrestle don't like to take them. So
Because they have concussion issues.
So I got to pick my spots. Luckily, Mitch does not have concussion issues, so I said, "Hey, can I headbutt you pretty hard?" And he's like, "Don't hit me in the side of the head." I'm like, "I will not hit you in the side of the head," and we were okay. But that was fun. And then impromptu after the show, I got to basically be Triple H to
Connor?
Whatever cancer kid.
Connor the Terrible or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah. Only these kids didn't have cancer, so...
But they were related to Mitch, which is like having...
Which is like having cancer. Man, I hope Mitch doesn't listen to this.
Does he?
I don't know. He might.
If you do, Mitch, I apologize. I love you.
I apologize for saying that being related to Mitch is like having cancer.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, that was fun, and I wasn't expecting for that to happen, and then I'm like, oh, there's little kids in here. I better get them to hit me and then pin me.
You're a better man than I.
Well,
if that was me...
You would beat up the kids?
No, I would have just been like, no, I'm not fucking interested. Like, it's a fucking fake. Get out of here.
All right. There you go.
Well, I don't like kids is what I'm saying.
No, I don't like kids either.
Yeah, but you're civil to them. I'm not. I literally would have told them to fuck off.
I can't remember how it came out. Oh, the kids had the belts.
Yeah.
So I grabbed the belts from the kids.
Yeah, and then Nick told them, like, go grab the belts from them, and then...
Yeah. So that was fun. And, yeah, what else was good?
I was disappointed with my glow stick jacket. Because we couldn't get it dark enough in the room.
Well, we could.
Well, yes.
Get it dark enough, but the lights in the gym take at least 5 minutes to turn back on after you turn them off.
Yeah.
So unless we wanted to wrestle in darkness, you unfortunately can only come out with the glow sticks in the light.
Yeah.
Which was too bad. But...
However, we were able to get some pretty good chance the weekend.
Yes.
Dental plan. At least needs braces.
Yep. What did that happen for?
Because Luke yelled something about... Oh, no, because Cody said something about Luke knocking out one of his teeth.
I guess so,
Last time they wrestled, and then Luke was saying, stomp on his mouth and knock out one of his teeth like I did. And then we started
Dental plan, Crazy Needs Braces.
Oh, Crazy Needs Braces, yeah. And then, what was the other one? The other one was something Brody killed Crazy.
Oh, yeah. I assume that one happened when Brody killed Crazy.
Yeah.
Insurance plan.
Insurance plan.
Insurance plan, Brody killed Crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Goodwin started a glow stick super kicks.
Yep. Of course, the old favorite, let's go Chris Frank, you're the best wrestler in the whole wide world.
Yes, of course. How could we forget?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty good heat the whole weekend. It very much, unlike last year, actually sustained through the shows, because like the main events had heat.
Yeah, we also had a better fan turnout this year. Like the fans that turned out were into it.
Yes, which is nice.
Yeah. Even Tony and I can never remember his real name. Dylan?
Dylan.
Yeah, Tony and Dylan too, right? Like
yeah. Dylan's a good dude.
Yeah.
One of the few good dudes in local pro wrestling.
Yeah.
There's about 4 of them.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only one that I'm disappointed we didn't get the chant was "Fuck Al" because that's kind of our staple chant.
I do like a good "Fuck Al."
Fuck Al, and then "Fuck Dan," "Fuck Dan,"
or "Fuck Dan" also.
Or "Fuck Dan" also. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, of course, stemming from I guess there was "Fuck Al" long before that, but the at Versus the World 6, the list of things you could fuck, which was yourself, off, and Al.
Yeah. No, that's my favorite chant. Love that chant.
Fuck Al. Somebody just chanted.
I just do it all the time. I was walking the streets.
Down the street.
To be fair, I live in Crazy Town, so nobody looks at me any differently if I start chanting. Fuck
Yeah, no,
out.
you're probably not even the only person chanting fuck Al.
Yeah.
Or you could probably incite just a full-blown crazy homeless fuck Al chant.
Could I start a crazy homeless, like, fuck Al flash mob?
I think so.
Just all the homeless people near my building just all chanting fuck Al?
I think it would be not as hard as you think it is.
I don't think so either.
I think it's worth a try.
I think it's very much worth a try.
Yeah.
Fuck Al. Fuck. Oh, God, it's so good. It just, like, flows off the tongue.
It truly does. But, yeah, that was a super fun show.
Yeah.
It made me want to do a show next year. Maybe want to do a show next month, actually.
It made me want to wrestle, like, I'll wrestle today.
Yeah. I would too.
Let's hope 321 gets their shit together.
Yes, Brett, if you're listening, fucking get your shit together. We want to come to Seattle and wrestle once a month.
In front of that awesome crowd.
In front of your awesome crowd.
321 has an amazing crowd.
Yep. Yeah, that's like my ideal schedule. I want to have one big-ish match a month.
That you don't have to plan.
That I don't have to plan.
You don't have to worry about getting the ring, getting the building.
Oh yeah,
paying for shit.
Yeah, it's so rare that I don't have to, but when I get to do someone else's show, oh my god, it's a fucking dream. You just show up and do the match and that's it? Really?
You show up.
That's awesome.
You don't have to set up or tear down the ring.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about anything.
It's fucking amazing. Sometimes you get paid.
Sometimes, then you're a pro.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the best. It's been, I don't know, I'm going to say 1% of my wrestling career has been that. The rest have been shows where I do have to worry about the whole show. Yeah. But god damn, it's nice when you don't.
I can imagine.
It's so nice.
Or even for like me, like, yeah, you're planning it and you're putting everything together, but because I'm part of the same Fed as you, and we have people coming in from out of town.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It still like puts a tiny bit of pressure on me because then it's like, I still have to be super involved to make sure this runs properly.
Yeah.
Whereas you go to 321, you can just sit there and just
let it happen.
Do fucking nothing.
It's great.
Sit in your underwear.
Yeah. Oh, so much fun.
Oh, I'm up next. All right, I'll get dressed now. Like,
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so good. So yeah, hopefully we get to do more of that.
And also too, because the people that have been going down, like you, me, Dan, and Kelly.
Yeah.
Like we all work together really well. Like I feel like we don't even have to spend as much time planning matches as we used to.
Well, no, because like our match in Seattle last year, we didn't know we were gonna do it until day before, 2 days before, because there were more people going down than they couldn't. Kelly decided to almost die.
Yes.
Dan dropped out for some reason, and I think Luke was gonna come, although he
couldn't find his passport.
That's when he couldn't find his passport. Yeah, exactly. So, so it ended up being just me and you.
We booked it in the car ride, sort of.
Well, no,
sort of.
We were going to book it in the car ride down. Yeah. Then we did a podcast and listened to comedy.
Yeah, but we talked it a little bit.
But basically, we put it together after we parked.
Yes.
At the venue.
Yes.
And then put it together.
Sat in the car and just like
sat in the car at like 8 p.m.
Yeah.
For the match at. I don't know. Actually, it was kind of like the match is probably at 11.
Yeah, we got there at 9, a little bit after 9.
Yeah.
And they had already started, but they were only like one match in.
Yeah, they had started at 9, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were like 11-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we put it together pretty quick.
That's the thing too, is you and I have had like 5 matches. Like my last 5 matches have all involved you. Other than Kelly.
A lot of them. Because
it was you and me last year.
Us last year.
And the tag match with Domi, which...
Yeah, we had our...
Kind of the same thing.
Yeah, our singles that turned into a tag.
Yeah, then the singles in Seattle.
The
tag in Seattle. And then the one this... And then this.
6-man on day 1.
And the singles.
Singles on day 2.
So...
Yeah.
7 of the
last days you've wrestled.
Yes.
I have been involved.
Yes.
Are you tired of me yet?
No. You're easy to work.
That's what I hear sometimes.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
You and Dan are easy to work, and for some reason, Kelly and I have a hard time working together.
Really?
We get our stuff together, but planning with each other takes forever. And I don't know why. Because realistically, he and I should be the easiest 2 people to work together. Because we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to get stuff going between the 2 of us.
Huh. Everything worked, because your match last year was really good.
Yeah. Well, that one we actually sat down and were like, we need to do that.
Yeah.
But
and then all your stuff in the 6-man and the 4-way this year worked out very well.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. And so, I mean, I feel
including
like...
your installing Brainbuster on him.
Yeah, that hurt. That hurt. I'm going to do it to him again in Seattle, for sure. But I feel like now that we've wrestled so much recently, like I feel like we almost don't... We should just have our own routines and then just rotate through which ones we go through each match.
Yeah.
That way we don't have... Like, because we usually use a lot of the same things, that we just spice them together differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
we've got like definitely got some spots that, because for this one, for our finish in our singles match, we said, hey, let's do this old spot with this different ending, and that was our finish, and it worked great, largely because I got kicked very hard in the face, but.
Dr. Rob.
That's what happens with... and Rob did the same thing I did. Like, it's the finish.
Lean in.
Fucking lean in. And he did and I did, and we're better for it. And there's always that moment right after the kick where you, like, sort of take stock and you're like, how hurt is my jaw? And jaw was actually fine. I just got hit hard elsewhere in the face, so... Yeah, I didn't injury-wise, I didn't really have anything bad, just kind of general soreness, nothing that would be considered an injury. Although the general soreness got very bad on the, can't remember if it was the Sunday or the Monday, the day after. I guess it must have been the day after. And just throughout the day got worse and worse, where like my body was just like completely shutting down. Then I went to sleep on the Sunday night, woke up on the Monday, all the body pain was gone. It had all relocated to a square inch of my head, which was throbbing. So I overdosed on Aleve, basically, and then I was fine. And that was it. And you're mostly okay besides your foot.
Yeah, and I think it's just sprained, I think is all.
Like, but foot, not ankle?
It's kind of like right above where the bone is, like the ankle bone is. It's like right in here somewhere. So it's just like it was bruised and now it's gotten better. So it's just sore.
And that was from kicking me?
Yes, in the back.
Oh, in the back. Yeah, I wasn't sure what, because you kicked me a lot of times in a lot of different ways.
Well, the first one was like a straight up and down kick. Yeah. And I think that's what did it. So then the next two, I turned my leg sideways and then it didn't hurt. But then, like the next morning when I got up, I was like, "Ooh, this is like throbbing a lot."
Well, at least that was day 2.
Yeah.
Oh, it sucks when you do something to yourself on day 1.
Yeah. Yeah, but now unfortunately I have the wrestling bug again. So
I know. I want to do stuff.
Gotta get it out of my system. So like 3-2-1 needs to happen, or go to some other show. I don't know.
And go to Chilliwack, wrestle with the kids.
I'm okay.
I think they had a show today.
I think I'm okay.
Because I had like a Facebook invite, I think, to something of theirs that was today.
Yeah, I think I did too, actually.
Yeah. Forgot to go. Sorry, guys. I'll come next time, or not. But yeah, I really did enjoy the show, and I think everyone I talked to, unless they're lying, also did. Yeah. So that's good.
I think most people don't have a bad time at our shows unless they really get like underbooked and are not happy about it.
Yeah, and one thing we actually did, which I guess we always sort of unconsciously do, but we like literally went through and did this time, was when we booked the show. After it was booked, we went through the show person by person and said, "Is this person going to be happy with their bookings?" And I think it worked for everyone.
Yeah,
which was good. So in theory, it's much like retirements with wrestlers. It's hard to believe what you hear, but in theory, our last Super Show that we're going to run is going to be around this time next year. So I'm hoping we get a lot of people.
Yeah, it'll be the last show that we run, presumably, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the last show
wrestling
I'm on.
No.
I don't expect it to
I'm
be.
sure that there will always be something big that comes up where we end up going to New York or wherever and do something.
Or in a perfect world, Washington's running regularly.
Yeah, exactly.
Which would be sweet. But yeah, and I don't know, because you know, I am, when in telling people about next year, I'm going to say, hey, this is the last one we're doing, so if you're going to come, you better come. But then, I don't know, what happens when we do the show, and the show's so good,
they were like,
and they were like, how can we not do any more? Yeah, so it's hard. But
I think it's gonna get harder though because we are getting older. Some of us are. Some of us are already in their mid-30s.
I don't know who you're talking about.
And some of us are getting married, and you know
we'll see.
And some people have already gotten married and had kids, and
woof.
So I think it's probably gonna get harder for us to.
Yeah, and that's the reason. So.
And the problem too is we're so far on the West Coast that. I mean, so many people can't afford to come. They want to come, but they can't afford to come.
Yeah, and also because most backyard wrestlers are broke-ass deadbeats also.
Oh, absolutely.
So that also
especially
makes it
if you come from a certain state. I'm not going to say what state.
Does it rhyme with... Couldn't even get it out. Does it rhyme with Pennsylvania?
Yes, it does.
Minus Chris Frank, who is a boss.
That's true. Chris Frank is a guy.
But he's not Pennsylvania raised.
No.
He's a Jersey boy.
He's a Jersey boy.
Yeah.
He doesn't count.
He does not. But I really made myself laugh with Pennsylvania.
Oh, those Pennsylvanians.
Yeah. But I'm going to tell them, hey, fucking deadbeats with too many kids that you had in your mid-teens. If you're going to come to our show, you better come to this one, because after that you're out of shows.
Look, if we're going to run it, presumably, the same weekend, that gives you a little bit less than 1 year. That's 12 months. So if you start saving money now, even a little bit...
$50. $50 a month.
Then you'll be able to make it here.
Yeah. This is literally a lot to ask for some people.
And you usually, for the most part, you don't have to worry about housing.
No, you don't.
We always try and house everybody.
We always have. We had, in 2009, we had 25 people fly here. Housed everyone.
Yeah. So you don't have to worry about that.
How did we do that, by the way?
I don't know. Everybody lived at Dan and Chewy's.
I guess they just stuck 10 people at Dan and Chewy's.
Yeah, it really was. And it was 5 at Kelly's.
I had 5 or 6.
5 here.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a lot, but we managed, so we can do it.
Yeah, so that would just people you just if there are people that have been talking for years they want to come here and then they can never afford it. So
cough Kale, cough Dawn,
cough Matt Nix,
cough Matt Nix. Who else are we calling out that always says they're gonna come and never fucking comes? Florida.
Zane. No, Zane doesn't ever say coming.
No.
But we'll call
decent chance at Zane next year because he'll be in L.A. Same with Trey. Trey's already in L.A.
There you go.
Yeah. Male strippers. Not entirely joking. Pretty sure that's what they're going to do.
Well, Trey is packing. Smallest dude with the biggest dick. Him and Domi. I don't know, man.
If we get them both, that match is happening.
Yeah. We throw Kelly in there, too?
No. Too much.
Kelly's too small?
No, that's too much dong.
Oh, that's too much dong. Gotcha. Yeah. But, yeah, no. Fucking, Kentucky. Those guys count as Kentucky.
Yeah. Who else? I think those are the
big ones.
The biggest culprits.
Some of those New York guys, maybe.
Yeah, Kale and Dunn really are the biggest two. Maybe Florida to a degree, but Kale and Dunn have both been since 2006 or 7 going to come, and in that almost decade have not made it once.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get your shit together, guys.
Yeah, fucking Kale. And then, California, get the California boys up here because
Travis
won't get married next year because he'll be getting married this year.
Yes, hopefully he's not getting married again next year. That means something will have gone wrong if he's getting married again next year. So California, hopefully see you. And if Washington's running, hopefully see you guys in Washington.
Oh, and also, too, what about all of it's harder for them, more expensive for them, but all the Brits. Yeah. There's always a ton of Brits that want to come but can't come. That's
a little more understandable.
This is your only chance.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to do it, you better do it. But I do understand in years past how you haven't been able to drop $1,000+.
Yes. Unless you're Alex and Chris and to some extent Dan.
Yeah. Dan, British Dan, not our Dan.
Yeah, British.
Yeah. So, I think we'll get Alex for sure. I was actually pretty surprised he didn't come this year because he's come literally every year since 2007, minus the 1 year we didn't do a show.
Yeah.
No. He did come the year we didn't do a show.
Mm-hmm.
Just to hang out.
Yeah.
Because I remember we watched the Lost finale with him.
Oh, yeah.
In 2010.
Yeah.
In 2010, the year we didn't do a show.
Yeah.
He didn't come in 2011 because that was the year that only Australians and Siege came.
Yeah. That's a good crew.
That is a good crew. I hope Siege comes next year.
Yeah.
I don't know if he still wants to do it, but I do remember Dan saying at one point he wanted to do a deathmatch with Siege. And I want to see that real fucking bad.
Yeah, I kind of want to see that too.
Yeah. There's a 90% chance neither match will happen, but I have both of Dan's matches booked for next year. Dan versus Siege deathmatch,
Yeah.
and the match that should not be Dan versus Chewie versus Wade three-way that we have tried to do so many times and has never happened.
It's never happened.
First time Chewie tore his ACL entering the ring.
Yeah.
Next time Wade went to jail.
Yeah.
And then there was one other in 2009 after Wade was back from jail where we tried to book it, and I think it was less exciting. I think Chewie didn't make it that day or something, or Wade booked himself in his 8th consecutive match with Kevin. It might have been that also.
Could be. It's very possible.
Yeah, but at any rate, never happened. And then somehow we never did it when we started up ISUXDIX again. And yeah, it is truly.
Well, Justin wasn't as involved.
Yeah, he didn't have a
ISUXDIX,
ton of matches,
so.
but I would love for that to happen. Again, that's dependent on A, Dan and Chewie wanting to do that match, and B, Wade being willing to wrestle.
Yes, that's true. I was a little surprised that Wade didn't wrestle.
He was back and forth a bunch of times.
Yeah, because I know he does love to wrestle.
Yeah, he really talked himself out of it at the end because he was pretty much for it. The whole thing was super weird though. Like when I asked him, and when I first asked him, he was like weirdly hostile about it and like mad that like we didn't invite him to like film promos and stuff. And I responded, I thought you hated promos. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, whenever we did them, it seemed like the biggest chore in the world to get you to do them. And he's like, no, I love doing them. I'm like, okay, well, we'll invite you to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like weirdly mad about it, and then like he's like, yeah, and I don't want to wrestle. I'm like, okay, and then he like did a total 180, and then was like, yeah, maybe I should, and then yeah, it was a very bipolar situation, and he ended up on the negative side, unfortunately. But I hope if I tell him we're doing our last one that he'll do it. But yeah, because he wouldn't have wrestled. Well, as of right now, he hasn't wrestled in 2 years. Because his last one would have been our 2012 big show.
It's a long time.
Yeah, which was that sweet ass 4-way.
Yeah.
Him, Kevin, Domi, Goodwin.
Yeah.
Which was probably Goodwin's best match until 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
When he dragged a good match out of Kelly.
Kelly, you sack of shit. Well, that's fine. Next year, Chris and I will have a kick fight with each other.
That's right. We actually, and besides the matches I've booked Dan in without telling him, and probably won't happen anyway, we have 2 theoretical matches booked. One is quite likely going to happen, that being you versus Chris, because I think Chris will come. And the other being questionable, because one of them... Actually, I was going to say one of them is a loose cannon, and then I remember the other one is also a loose cannon. Mike Quest and Nick Price.
Yes.
Who want to redeem themselves from the terrible match they had in Rhode Island in 2006.
Well, and Nick Price, the man who goes into business for himself.
Yes. Also, Mike Quest, the man who goes into business for himself. So
I hope it's just them beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, I hope it's just some weird mirroring unprofessionalism.
Just no selling, just hitting for real. And
yeah, faking an injury so you don't have to continue the match. Committing a hate crime. The last 2 things I said are things Mike Quest really did. I definitely saw him fake an injury against Haley Hatred at Beyond Wrestling because he didn't like the way the match was going and just decided he was done with it. and then when I wasn't there for, I think Chewie was Sky Bynes, a colored gentleman, Blue doing his own finisher on Mike, and Mike decided the best way to respond to this would be to beat the shit out of him for real, cause a scene, and then sit on the edge of the ring and refuse to leave.
So professional.
Yeah. Chris Frank definitely was there, because I think the team was Chris Frank, Mike West, and Drew Cordero as Smash Mouth.
Mm.
But I think Chewie might have been there too.
Funny.
Yeah. So yeah, and as someone said, I wish I could take credit for it, but one day Mike West will be put on trial for his crimes at Backyard Nuremberg. When that comes to pass. But I hope it's not until after next year's show, because I'm sure something's going to happen in him versus Nick Price. But yeah, I don't know, how long are we going?
This thing has been recording the whole time. Well...
Oh, should I have pressed record?
Yes.
We're, I was going to say we're right at an hour, because I saw 1 and zeros. We're at 100 minutes,
okay.
Which is 1 hour and 40 minutes, which seems like plenty.
That's good, yeah. I'm happy with that.
I'm good? Yeah. You're good? Everyone's good. You guys good at home? Yeah? I can't hear you.
Does it rhyme with Pennsylvania?
That's the funniest thing I've ever said. You set that up and I fucking knocked it out of the park. Well, yeah.
Oh, wait. Can I just say one last comment that we forgot to mention?
May. Actually, I have one other thing,
the fact that...
This is going to go another 3 hours,
that from now on, Luke will have to put registered sex offender after his name.
That's right. Zeus McFly, Luke, is now a registered sex offender because there were children in the crowd, and he decided it was going to be A-okay to do a naked moonsault, and he did.
While standing on the top row,
facing
the said child.
He definitely showed... Okay, exposing yourself to a minor is literally the name of a crime, and he did that. So,
Zeus McFly, RSO.
Also, I thought of... I literally felt the need to email this to Dan. I said, look, I know it's late in the game, but can we get Luke to change his wrestling name to Dr. Retarded? Because when we were hanging out the other day, Chris Goodwin's last day here, we were trying to remember the name of the Dr. Demento parody from Mr. Show, and then we looked it up, and then I laughed so fucking hard when I remembered that it was Dr. Retarded. At the very least, like, in quotes, Dr. Retarded Zeus McFly, because it's such a good fucking name.
It is a good name.
And it's so perfect for him. He is a doctor of retardation.
He is. He may be challenged, but he's also a doctor.
Yes, exactly. And then the one other thing that I keep remembering to bring up with you, and then forgetting before I bring it up with you, is an egregiously left out spot in our singles match that I didn't think about, and you know exactly what
I didn't think about it until after the match, and I was in the back getting changed, and went, no!
We forgot to throw chairs at each other.
Damn it!
God damn it!
We had so many chairs.
It's not like we were lacking for chairs.
What would have been an even better spot is if we were really ballsy and really hated each other, and we didn't collapse them, and we were literally
From open?
We were just like cupping it under our hand,
Just hucking?
and just hucking them at each other because there was so many, and then
There
just
were a
literally
lot.
just throwing chairs at each other.
There were really a lot of chairs.
That would have been insanity.
Drew and I, since I guess
Our singles match in Seattle.
Our singles match in Seattle, and then we had a tag match in Seattle, and then this match,
and then the six-man.
and then the six-man,
And then this one.
Yeah, we wanted to do a spot where we start on the outside, on opposite sides of a row of chairs, and just pick up the chairs and throw them at each other simultaneously, and work our way to the middle, and then do whatever from that. When we each get to the last one in the middle, I guess pick them up and have a chair fight.
Yeah.
And we keep forgetting to do it.
Yeah. We
And
couldn't do it in Seattle because we couldn't wreck the chairs.
Yep.
And then the second show, Dan wouldn't let us.
Yep.
And then the six-man, Dan was at it again, so
we
didn't even bring it up.
We didn't bring it up because we knew he wouldn't let us. But then when Drew and I were planning when we first talked about our singles, we're like, oh yeah, we'll do it there. And then when we actually, wrote down the spots, completely forgot it.
Damn it.
So we still need to throw chairs at each other.
Still gotta throw chairs.
One day we will throw chairs at each other. Maybe as soon as I hit unrecord on the phone, we will throw chairs at each other.
I'm sitting on the only chair, so I'm gonna have to...
You have a distinct advantage.
I do.
As the person with the only chair in the room.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's the plan. Yep, there goes that train of thought. I think that was everything, though.
I think it was good. Cody will be happy because he made one request before he left, which was, please make a new episode of Hearts Wrestling, and please make a new episode of Hearts Cinema. So we're halfway there.
We're halfway. It's good. This is our first anything in 4 months.
Yep.
So that's a start.
Yeah, that's good. Let's continue on this path.
Let us. And Nick Unthank, if you're listening, get your shit together so we can do a Hearts Cinema and play games with more than 2 people.
Quit your job at Blockbuster. It's 2014.
Seriously. He literally is the last person on earth to get a job at Blockbuster, right?
He's the Omega Man of Blockbuster employees.
I hope he watched Omega Man while he was there. In order to complete the circle of irony. But I think that's everything. Did you, as we mentioned just over 100 minutes ago, get your plugs in now? Hair plugs? Regular plugs? Butt plugs?
I will be at school tomorrow.
Okay. Where can people see you?
They can see me at school.
Okay.
Because I practically live there.
All right. This being Vancouver Film School.
Vancouver Film School.
Okay, so they can come and see you there.
Yes. You can't get in because you need a pass, and I'm not giving out passes.
Okay.
So don't bother.
It's going to be harder to see you that way.
I don't really, I don't tweet anymore because I don't have time, and I Facebook, but not really, but sort of.
This is the top 1 worst plugs I've ever heard.
I posted a poster today of my production for Term 2, so check that out. I know how to use Photoshop now, so I'm going to take full body pictures of myself and make myself look skinnier.
I like that.
Yeah. You can like my fan page on Facebook.
Facebook.com/Drew
Sarian.
There you go. Easy enough.
He's an athlete.
Technically.
Technically.
Same with me. I wish there was a Facebook fan page category, athlete, technically.
That's why in the description of my page it says, professional wrestler from the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, in quotes?
Yeah.
Nice. It would be weird if Pacific Northwest was in quotes. Professional wrestler from the Pacific Northwest, if you know what I mean. What?
What do you mean?
What are you insinuating?
What do you mean you're Ruthless Randy?
It's my name. Now that I ripped on you for your plugs, I guess I should have my own, but I don't really. What's
your MySpace?
MySpace.com/Smashmouth69. I don't remember what my actual Facebook fan page is. I think it's facebook.com/ScottHensonVBW.
VBW.
It's a weird Freudian slip.
Ooh.
Scott Henson VCW.
Somebody's got VBW on the brain.
Apparently. And my t-shirt store, I know that one, ProWrestlingTees.com/Scott Henson. That one gives me money, so fuck the fan page, go buy a t-shirt. And I don't feel the need to plug anyone else's shit, because they can do that on their own damn time. So, it feels good enough for me.
I can't even use my regular shithead, because he was very apologetic and super nice to me this time.
Oh,
so I have
that?
to... Chris Frank.
Oh, yeah.
For kicking me in the dick.
I can't believe you didn't kick him in the dick this whole trip.
I know. But I'll get him back at some point. I'll wait till his wedding day, then I'll get him.
You I got married some years ago and has a kid with the person he got married to, and everything seems to be working okay.
Huh, you don't say.
Yeah. Does that change your plan at all, or are you still going to kick him in the dick on his wedding day?
No, fuck him.
All right. So in lieu of him,
oh boy. TNA still being a thing is a shithead.
yeah, it's actually amazing. And I think you were just overthinking it because Yujiro is a shithead.